guess we're going to get started. We're a couple minutes late getting started, but we're going to begin. My name is Ann Nassif, and I am one of the school adjustment counselors at Somerset Berkeley Regional High School. I'm also a licensed mental health counselor. I'm here today to talk about the Big Buddy program, which is a program that I created 21 years ago. It was kind of cool when we were creating the slideshow to put and establish in 2004. I'm like, wow, I was one of those people at the high school. I've been there for 21 years who used to sit in the crowd and say, oh my gosh, we would have these award ceremonies at the end of the year, and it would be like, oh, here's the award for the teacher that's been here for 15 years, 20 years, and I used to be like, what, losers, I can't believe they're here for that many years, and now here I am, one of the veterans, 21 years, I'm like, wow. But this is, I mean, above and beyond all the other things that you do as an adjustment counselor, this is sort of my baby that I created many, many years ago, and so happy that it's still as strong as it is in the high school all these years later. We're going to be talking today about what it is, why it began, how we implement it, why it's successful. A lot of the work that I do is behind the scenes, and the kids sort of take over, so you're going to be hearing from them a lot today. There is going to be some activity sections that will involve prizes for any of you that are willing to volunteer. That's one of the reasons how we get a lot of these 8th graders going. So I just want to be able to give them the opportunity to just introduce themselves, say their names, and then we'll kind of get going with the presentation. So do you want to start, Paul?
Hello, my name is Paul Castigay. I'm a senior at Somerset Berkeley. I've been a part of Big Buddy for 3 years. I played football, and I was part of many clubs throughout my time at the high school, but most notably probably DECA and COSA.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Zachary King. I am the senior class president. I've been a part of Big Buddy for 4 years now. I play basketball and football, and I'm also part of the math team.
Hi everyone, my name's Zachary Dauphin. I've been part of Big Buddy for 4 years now. I've been very involved in the school. I've been very involved in school. I was the captain of the volleyball team this year, and I also am the vice president of our Model UN club.
Hi everybody, I'm Josie. I'm a senior at Somerset Berkeley. I've been a part of Big Buddy for about 3 years now. I'm involved in a lot at the high school, but most notably I'm the girls tennis captain. I'm the editor of the yearbook and the senior class secretary.
Hi, I'm Kara Spatello. I have been in Big Buddy for 4 years now, and I've been a 2-year captain on our state championship field hockey team. And I'm also in prom committee and NHS.
Hi, I'm Hunter Pearson. I've also been a Big Buddy for 4 years now, and I'm a senior. And some of the things I'm involved in, I'm president of our DECA club. I'm also treasurer of our Model UN, and I'm also involved in show choir and theater.
Hi everyone, I'm Savannah. I'm a senior here at SV. I've done Big Buddy since my freshman year, so that's a little bit about 4 years. The end of freshman year I started. During the fall season, I do cheerleading. The spring season, I'm a lacrosse captain. I'm part of Future Teachers of America, and I'm part of our elementary education internship program at the high school.
All right. So they're a little bit busy. And I do have to give props to Zachary. He was too humble to share, but we just actually won the state championship for basketball too. We're the underdog. So some of the driving forces behind what led me to create Big Buddy was after my first year at the high school, I started to notice that there were so many retentions for 9th graders. And I sat back and I was like, wow, that was when we would hold kids back. We don't do that anymore, but it would be repeat 9th graders. And I thought, there's got to be something with this. We're not seeing this in our older kids. So I started looking and saying, like, what are we providing for our 8th graders to transition them from the middle school to the high school, which is such a jump. Our high school is about 1,000 students. Our middle schools, we are a regional high school, so we take students from Somerset Middle School and Berkeley Middle School, and we are actually a school choice now too. So we have both schools combining, and there was really nothing that was being done to help these kids take that leap towards high school. So I started putting some feelers out there to the kids, as well as doing my own research, and found some common themes that we saw that were troublesome to the 8th graders, what their concerns were. One of the top concerns, and still to this day after all these years, is getting lost, getting bullied, making friends, if they're going to be making sports teams or not. Now we're starting to see a lot more of kids talking about their academic caseload. They're worried about how they're going to balance some of these classes along with the things that they're getting involved with. So I thought, all right, if we have these as the concerns, let's directly address them with these kids and create a program that's going to speak specifically to these issues that they are having, because it's coming from them. So then I thought, they're not going to want to stand and sit and listen to adults. As we've said before, the student voice is so much more powerful. So I thought, gosh, how am I going to get kids to do this? So this is probably one of the things you'd have to look at if you wanted to establish a program like this in your school. Where do you start? I actually looked at one of the key clubs that we had at the time and said, let me pick a couple kids from this and do a survey with them. Would they like to get involved with something where we start to help 8th graders? And of course, just as Anthony had said, you didn't even have to finish the question, and these kids said yes. So that was what sort of began my idea. So what is the Big Buddy program? It is a peer-to-peer mentoring program. So again, it is the high school upper class students that work directly with 8th graders starting within their 8th grade year. We address the concerns that we had just mentioned. We want to build a sense of community and connectedness before they even step foot inside the high school. We specifically look at easing the anxieties that they have making this transition, as far as like socially and emotionally, not just academically. We help to prepare them for the demands, the expectations, and the stressors that are going to come along with high school, which again is coming right from the high school student voices. So the more questions they have, the more answers our high schoolers have. And obviously we always look to promote a safe and inclusive environment, which is why when we do start in the 8th grade and we do a shadow day, we include every single 8th grader. So this isn't parents signing kids up. Every single 8th grader comes through several of our programs throughout their 8th grade year. All right, what is a Big Buddy? I have a couple Big Buddies that are going to come up and just speak to this slide.
Yeah, so as Big Buddies, we are peer mentors. So we begin working with the students in their 8th grade year. And I say mentor, but we are honestly just buddies to them. We're kind of just inspirations for them, but we're really friends. I mean, I have kids that I have mentored that I am still friends with to this day. I see them in the halls, I talk to them every day, I hang out with them outside of school. I mean, we really create that bond here in Big Buddy. Now I want to talk about the vision of the graduate. So as Big Buddies, we try to be good role models of our vision of the graduate. So what it is, so we are Raiders here at SB, meaning we are resilient, academic, independent, we are digital citizens, we're empathetic and respectful. So just a couple of them that I really want to point out is first, academic. So a big worry that 8th graders have coming into high school is, oh, like how is class going to be? Is it much harder? Like is homework hard? So that's what we're here for. We're here to tell them, we give them kind of just studying tricks, give them good advice, and we kind of let them know that it's not a huge jump from middle school to high school. It's really not. In the end of the world, once you get to high school, it's not that much more difficult. Another one being digital citizens. So, and I feel like that's kind of a more bigger jump from middle school to high school. You kind of have to be more on your computer a lot, be checking emails all the time, and just being smart on all social apps as well. You know, I feel like that's kind of a big thing. A lot of kids that get to high school, they get a phone, they think they can say whatever they want, and we kind of just let them know that you have to be smart on all social apps. And empathy as well. That is a huge thing, especially for us, because we remember what it was like to be in their shoes as that scared 8th grader. So we really like to connect to them and just show them that, yeah, we were once in their shoes and we're here to teach them.
So piggybacking off of what Zach said, being a leader is super important to the younger kids. Going to the elementary school, they look up to me, I walk in the classroom and they're all like, hi, Miss Savannah. Like the preschoolers, they love me, like they're so cute, they draw me pictures every day, they're just adorable. So we want to really promote like a safe and inclusive environment. So I'm really not in school much because I'm at the elementary school. It does count for our program, but I go down there and Big Buddy, like looking down to the middle schoolers, they kind of want to be somebody that, again, like Zach said, you can look up to. I have a little buddy, his name was Kyle. It was me and Hunter's little buddy. You'll see a later video. He's the cutest thing ever. He's like, we had gym class together. He still talks to me. He like updates me on like all these like little functions he goes to. He's so cute. And again, like just someone that they feel comfortable talking to, somebody that they know they have something in common with, and that's kind of how we go through the process. Miss Nassif will go over it later, but you want to kind of be paired up with somebody that you have similar interests to, so it's not like you're sitting in your class awkwardly talking. Like you want to show that you're a leader. You can make them like know they have somebody to go to. Again, building community and connections. Again, with Kyle, the little kids, all the people that you know, that they just feel like somebody has a sense of like accountability, a sense of like safeness, like somebody that you have that you can be like, oh, like I know you in the hallway, again, like the other group was presenting, they know somebody, they can go up to somebody and feel safe when talking to them. So it's kind of a good thing to just keep in mind that you know to represent your school vision, kind of like the vision of the graduate. Again, you want to be like respectful, you want to be empathetic, and you know that they might be feeling scared. Like I have so many little buddies that when we call their name down, like they say your name, you have to go up to them, you have to be like, hi, and they're kind of just like, hi. And it's like, well, you kind of like need to just introduce yourself more, make them know that they're being listened to, like they can sit down in your chair. Like we'll stand up in class. If there's not enough seats, like we stand up and we let them sit so they don't feel like the awkward ones standing up. Like we want to make sure they feel included.
And I often say that, teenagers get a really bad rap of just being wrapped up in themselves. They're very, not really caring about what other people are going through, or, especially as a parent of 2 teenage girls, they can get wrapped up in their own things. But I have to say, like, this program has really defied that myth, as I call it now, because given the opportunity to help others is what is such a special part of this program. So what are some of our events? What is that weird?
I don't know. It's like I think it's the projector. I think you're good though.
Oh, okay. So this is just some of the, and I can give this to anybody at the end too, the slides if you'd like. These are some of the big events that we have throughout the school year. And what we do is we try to structure it starting in November of their 8th grade year, and we run it right through August when the school year starts. So November is our open house, and that is led by our Big Buddies. Again, I do the background with it. We do have support from administration. The teachers are a part of it too. They heavily rely on the Big Buddies, sometimes so much that I'm like, no, like every year it grows legs. Like, can we have the Big Buddies do this? Can we have the Big Buddies do that? When I started to get asked if they could babysit for the town hall meetings, I'm like, that's not what this program is about.
That was so
Come on,
funny.
people. So it was like, but they still did it. We still did it. But we grow legs every year. But for the open house, parents come. We have them assigned to Big Buddies that are leading them on tours throughout the school. We have organized a huge activity fair within the gymnasium that has every single activity, club, music program, sports program that are there, and we have students representing from each of those subjects and each of those activities. So they can go through, ask questions, and they get a feel for what that's like. And in the slideshow of the pictures, you see a lot of the parents that are talking to the kids, and that's one of the first areas where the kids get to know Big Buddies. The t-shirts over there hung up, they do wear t-shirts. It's kind of silly and funny because I've never changed it in 21 years. It just says Big on the front and Buddy on the back. And they never want to change it. I'll tell you, sometimes the kids just want to join the program for the t-shirt. I'm like, it's really not that big.
It's
but they
comfortable. It's comfortable. We
Yeah.
upgraded. It's really
It is. It's not the hard cotton anymore. They're comfortable shirts. But when a kid comes into the program, sometimes when the first question is the last one, when do I get my shirt? I'm like, okay, settle down.
Hold on,
So
guys.
they wear those shirts throughout the day, all their activities. That's what identifies people that they are Big Buddies. The Shadow Days is a little bit what Savannah was referencing earlier. So in December, we host 6 days of bringing up the middle schoolers. I do a lot of work, again, behind the scenes where I match up each 8th grader with a Big Buddy that has similar interests. So I work with the administrators and counselors at the middle schools to get an idea of, okay, these are the kids that are on the cross-country team, these are the kids that are in band, so on and so forth, so that when I do match them up for their shadow day, they already have something in common and they start to build that community and connectedness immediately. And what they do is they come for about 3.5 hours of our day. They usually get there at 9 o'clock. They get paired up right away and off they go, and they go through the day with the Big Buddy. So if Paul has a science class, that little buddy is going to the science class. They go through the hallways when the halls are in live motion, so it's a regular day at the high school. The Big Buddies are leading them through busy, crowded hallways. They are eating lunch in the cafeteria with all of our other students. So again, I'm coordinating with our student dining lunch people to know that there are extra kids that are coming in every day. We usually host 50 kids across each of the 6 days. And that really is a wonderful way for these kids to start to connect. It is sort of a massive scheduling thing, but honestly, year after year, it's sort of the same thing. So it gets easier. February then rolls around with their 8th grade year, and our guidance counselors go over to the middle schools to do their scheduling. And that is when some big buddies will go and again talk about content within some of their courses. So if they have questions about AP classes, or they have questions about, should I take a world language? The big buddies are there, guidance counselors are there too, but big buddies sort of run the face of that day so they can help choose their courses. And again, many of them have gone through and seen a lot of the electives. We push a lot of the elective classes during the shadow days because all the kids have to take 4 years of an English and 3 years of a math. So they get to see like what their options are. When we move on to the summer program, we're gonna do a little bit of activities from the summer program. So shadow day is a little bit more academically based. The summer program, the summer orientation program takes place right after the 8th graders graduate. I don't wanna have anybody get too caught up in their summer, so they're in the school mode. We kind of keep them in the school mode. It's a couple days after the 8th grade graduation. They come to the high school for about 4 hours, and it's completely activity-based. It's much more into the social aspect of high school. We put them in groups, usually about 6 different groups. I assign big buddies to each group, and we have a schedule of events. I do have a printout of that for you, if you're interested, what that looks like. Oh, that's why. It didn't do that in my regular computer. So those are the events that we have.
Double click, that's what it is, the animation.
And something that grew this year was career fair. We had a career fair where they had all of the big buddies meet with the people that were presenting in all the classrooms to kind of guide them there. So we get called upon for lots of different things. So some of the core goals of the Big Buddy program, who's that? Zach? Hunter?
So inclusion's a big thing for Big Buddy, especially us being a bigger school. We have 1,000 kids in the school in total, and freshman class is around 250 kids. It's a lot of people, and it's really hard to get everybody included in something they want to do, because a lot of kids don't have the drive and motivation that they want. So Big Buddies make sure that they feel represented and included. Whether it's those first times we meet with them in 8th grade shadow day, and they have no friends at lunch, they sit with us at lunch. They're immersed in high school life, and it just makes them feel so much better about themselves, especially coming from another peer. And that's why we push a lot of these extracurriculars. We have something for everybody, from Dungeons and Dragons Club to sports. Literally something for anybody so they can get involved and do what they want to do, and we're showing them that, so with everything. And that's why we want them to get involved, because we know too, and it's just a fact that the more people get involved, the more engaged they are, the better they're going to do in the academics of school. We need to set up that good basis for that, which is very important. And I have a personal anecdote of somebody I had as a little buddy when I was a sophomore. Her name was Angelina. She was super sweet. You could tell she was a super popular girl in middle school, but she was so quiet in high school. She was so reclusive, barely talked to me. I was trying to get conversations going, nothing would really work. So it rolled around to the last period I was with her. We had health, and we couldn't be in that class, so we went to the gym class to play volleyball. It was an awesome time. She started opening up. The next year, I saw her in a Dunkin', just randomly, and she walked up to me and said, you know, I want to say thank you for what you did for me last year. I joined the volleyball team in the fall, which starts before school starts. I made a lot of friends. It helped me to start my high school career, and it was a moment of realization for me that this club matters, what we do matters, and the efforts we put in really made this one girl's high school change dramatically for the better. And that was a big moment in how the inclusion and the involvement that we're pushing as Big Buddies is really helping kids and whoever you are.
Okay, so you're
So,
up on this part.
I am in a class that's an elective, and you basically like go around and film like students, teachers, you interview them, and you get get used to like videoing people, even like getting yourself on camera. And I decided to get the staff perspective at our school of what Big Buddy does and what they think about it.
Like our incoming freshmen really get to see what it's like to be a student here, and not just where the classrooms are or where they're going, but what is it like to be in a class? What is it like to be with the high school norms, or what is it like to be with the high school rules? Because they are a big jump of a difference between middle to high school. So it's nice that they get to feel included, and it almost gives a sense of security for these students when they walk in our doors, that they already know what this teacher is like because they got the chance to sit there before.
I try to take this opportunity to introduce myself and just make sure the little buddies feel welcome. So I always ask them what their name is and try to joke around with them or just make them feel like they are invited, because it takes a lot, I think, to just walk into high school with all upperclassmen.
Program is what gets students excited about coming to high school. And then once they get to high school, they are a friendly face. And I think that's what students most worry about on their first days of school. Who am I gonna sit with at lunch? How crowded are the hallways gonna be? And those friendly faces that they remember from their experiences with the Big Buddy program make them feel more comfortable here.
I try to make them feel welcome. I want students that come to class to have somebody they can go to if they have a question, like I said earlier, but also to walk into a classroom and be able to see what's going on, what is expected of them in the classroom, to make them realize that high school is actually a really good place and there's a lot of good people here that can help them out. So I try to interact and get them as part of the class as much as I possibly can.
Also, it's an opportunity for us to start building relationships before kids get to high school. And I think it's so important to just have those positive interactions with students.
I think that the Big Buddies are trained to look out for students that maybe, don't have a friend to sit with, or sometimes just need a little bit of support during the day. So sometimes kids that might not be in a group are the types of students that maybe our Big Buddies will look out for.
They're going above and beyond to include their underclassmen into what activity they're doing. And specifically in my classroom, we do a lot of labs with the PLTW program, so they're one to be like, hey, here's where our PPE is, go glove up. They'll let them pour the gels for the labs, and allowing them to actually have an active role in the classroom, not just sitting and watching, I think is a huge role, because again, they get to see exactly what it's like when they're here.
The little buddies, obviously, they really listen to peers, they listen to kids a little bit older than them, sometimes more than adults. So the teenagers can be more of a role model sometimes for our younger kids. But our Big Buddies in turn find out that it's just as meaningful to them to do. So it's kind of like a win-win for both.
Students respond better to students and listen better to students than they sometimes do adults. So when you hear from a student that this is what it's like in the lunchroom, this is what it's like in your classrooms, this is the exciting parts of Somerset Berkeley, you believe it more than me standing up and telling you that for 45 minutes. And that's just the way it is.
The kids really create an atmosphere of acceptance and helping others. And in a school community, I think that's really, really important.
And Mrs. McCarthy, the guidance counselor that was just on the screen, is here with us today. She heard about us coming here and said, I'm coming, and it is her birthday, so we just want to give her a shout out. And I think it's interesting, when you talk about they're wonderful role model high school kids. However, they're kids, right? And so I always, when I'm training them, I say, you might not have enjoyed every single class that you're in. You might not have enjoyed every single teacher. You had lots of teachers in your schooling, but we need to keep it positive. So we really do encourage them to talk about their positive experiences so that they're not negatively giving, an antidote on a teacher that they had at the high school. Because again, I'm constantly reiterating to them, the importance of this program is to make them feel comfortable. So don't say or do anything that would cause them to not feel comfortable. And one of the pitfalls of that sometimes is that they are in the shadow, they are out in the main, hallways of all the kids, not just the Big Buddies. But you see how those kids also rise above and they step up and they're excited. Even the kids that aren't Big Buddies are excited for the shadow days. So this is a list of the events during the summer orientation. I do have a handout if you are interested in that. I keep them very active. So we start out in the Performing Arts Center. We kind of do attendance and some intros. We head right to the gymnasium where we do 4 different icebreakers. Today we would like to demonstrate 2 of those icebreakers. So I need 4 volunteers to come on up for the Starburst team. There are prizes involved. You will get a prize if you come on up, yes. Prizes have to be part of this program because people go, even if there's only 2. Oh, great. I think they're gonna form like a little circle.
Oh yeah, over here.
So again, this is one of the 4 icebreakers that we do the very first summer program orientation event to just kind of get them going. The first one is the tennis ball name game where everybody has a tennis ball, they stay in their group, their circle, and they just toss the tennis ball back and forth, they say their name. So if I'm tossing it to Mrs. McCarthy, I'll say Mrs. Nassif to Mrs. McCarthy, and back and forth, we'll toss it. Then they go to the Starburst game.
Okay, so first I'm gonna ask everyone to take at least a few Starbursts. Take as many as you want though. So I'm gonna pass this around. Thank you. Okay, so I'll start. So basically for each Starburst you take, you have to give a fun fact about yourself. So a fun fact about me is that I'm also a lacrosse captain.
Yes, and then I'll go next, and the reason this works so perfectly is kids love their candy and love Starburst.
Yeah.
Many kids have taken like 20 or 30 of these, and now they have to shred them many facts. So it's a nice way to open
It's
up.
a little incentive
It's fun.
going
So
on.
one for mine is I was originally born in Wareham, Massachusetts.
I've been to Disney 13 times.
I've been teaching 23 years.
I am learning how to sew.
Oh.
I'm from New Bedford, Massachusetts.
I work at a restaurant.
I work at Chick-fil-A.
I work at a summer camp.
I help my dad in weekends in the summer putting up tents during the flea markets.
I do part-time work as a crisis clinician in addition to being a school adjustment counselor.
The only type of car I've ever owned is a Subaru Outback.
I'm going to nursing school next year.
And then my final one, I'll jump on that. I'm going into psychology major next year as well.
I don't have any more. But I'm going to Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm a mom to an 11-year-old.
I'm also a mom. I have a 17-year-old and a 16-year-old.
Awesome, that's not easy.
Do you have any more?
I have a 2-year-old dog.
I have 2 brothers.
So yeah.
And then I think I have one more too. And I'm going to URI.
So that would be the purpose of the game. It just gets them out of their shell a little bit and make sure they feel included. If they hear other people like say something, they can piggyback off of it. Like Kara started with her job, and then we kind of all went around and just said something that we like to do. So it kind of just gets them out of their shell and gets them ready to like know they have somebody to talk to about something in common.
We do kind of do some bribing along the way to kind of get involvement. So the Starburst game is not a prize game within the Shadow Day, the summer program, but there are a couple prize games that just motivates them. I mean, as you know, pizza, anything to the mouth of a teenager, pizza handy. Okay, the second activity that we want to demonstrate for you that we do in the summer program is called the paper bag skit. Now it's called the paper bag skit because when I started this 21 years ago, I used Stop and Shop paper bags because I didn't have enough props. Now it's actually a huge black garbage bag that we fill with, and I fill 6 of these bags with crazy props that I've just gotten throughout the years that people donate, my kids' like old Halloween costumes, and each bag has a note card in it that has a theme. And with that theme that they don't know what it's going to be, the group has to form a skit. They have 20 to 25 minutes to develop a skit with the 8th graders, and then we move from the gym to the Performing Arts Center where they get on stage and they perform the skit. So the primary part of the skit is just to make them laugh, to be silly, but to get them involved. So they are going to demonstrate.
And we've never had somebody not participate. Like you could see like the most quietest person, there's never been one person that hasn't. Like you always just find a role for somebody. It's fun.
And our skit theme for this one is the Channel 5 News. There's various ones we do. America's Got Talent can be one of them. We've done the Olympics before.
Oh,
and
Keeping Up with the
we'll see.
Kardashians.
That was
We've
another
also
one.
done that one.
And I think like one of the best things of it all is there's like football players, like sports players that like you would least expect to be putting a dress on, and it's like insane. Like when I was an 8th grader, or soon to be a freshman, I saw like the senior football players in dresses, and I was like, what is happening? And then like you go up on stage and do it, and it's really amazing.
And so like everyone laughs and just like talks it out. It's like fun. It's so fun.
And the quiet little buddies, like sometimes if they're doing like a talk show, like they might just have them be like a member of the audience, but everybody has a role. But some of them do actually get really involved, and they're like, oh, I can't wait to see what this kid's gonna be like when
All right. Okay, Zach, I think you're good to go.
Go for it.
Is everybody ready? Good morning, Nashua, New Hampshire. I'm your local weatherman. Be prepared for wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour this morning. Whoa! All right, and it's looking like we're going to get occasional showers as well. Oh my goodness, that's too bad. But luckily down in Florida, beautiful weather, time to play some beach volleyball. Woo! That is awesome. All right, I now pass it on to Mr. Pearson with a sports interview.
And it looks like we have a famous pickleball player from our own community here. Alan, how are you doing today?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm fantastic. I hear we have an upcoming pickleball tournament. What do you want to say about that?
Pickleball is life. Pickleball's been great for me recently, and I can't wait to keep performing.
There you go. You heard it from Alan. What makes pickleball so special?
It's just a fun game. It allows me to, get involved with my friends. So.
Yeah, awesome. And I see you have a gold chain there. Did you win something recently?
I'm going for my first ever three-peat in the pickleball tournament. I've been doing pretty well this season, so I'm gonna look to keep the ball rolling.
There you go. You heard it here first from Ellen, the master pickleball champion. We now send it back to Mr. King.
Well, good for you, Ellen. I love to hear that. Oh, I just got a report. We got some breaking news. Oh my goodness. Sounds like there's a lost freshman at Somerset High. Someone go save her. Please help.
We have big buddies en route right now.
Oh, nice. We have big buddies on the way.
Good. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you.
Guys, that was really scary. I'm sorry.
All right, and we just got notice that they have been saved. Nice job, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, and that does it for today. Thank you, everybody.
So that's it. Like being outrageous, being silly, doing different things, trying to connect it to high school in some way. And some of these kids who have never been on stage before, it's an opportunity for them to go on stage and act, and me to direct, which I never do either, so it's kind of funny. Focusing, did anybody else? Yeah.
One of our main focuses as Big Buddies is obviously student agency and engagement. As Big Buddies, we really want to encourage our incoming 8th graders to be independent. We want to really foster those skills and techniques for them to grow, not only be good students and good people through high school, but graduate from high school and go through college and their career. We want to help them learn how to make positive choices and be a source for them, so to be able to judge what is a positive choice and what to do when you make the wrong choice. And we really, everyone's really said it, but we want people to get involved. Involvement and engagement is really what helps everybody. It makes your high school experience much more positive, so we really want everyone to have a good time. And just to take control of their learning experience. As Big Buddies, we really help them learn techniques and methods for them to be better learners, better people. We help them a lot with time management and just really getting to know other people.
So why is the Big Buddy program so successful?
All right, I have this one. So I wanted to start this slide off by saying, I don't know how many of you guys have ever been to a college tour, and how some of the students, do some college tours. And sometimes they can be a little bit boring. Some of the students that go there don't really seem excited to be there, and a little bit, just a little bit dull. And one of the reasons why I think the Big Buddy program is so successful is because the people that Ms. Nassif chooses to be in this program truly want to be there, and they truly are excited to show the little buddies around and stuff like that. One of the things is that we actually have to apply to be a Big Buddy, and it's this long application that you have to fill out to be one. So you truly, really, really, really have to want to be there to be one. Another reason why I think it's so successful is the peer-to-peer building, like they were saying, and how Ms. Nassif really went on it too, is that students will listen to students. So, the little buddies will really, really look up to the big buddies and really listen, and compared to a teacher, they might not as well, or an adult. as well. And also, it's fun and engaging, like you just saw that, like it's so successful because people love to come and do that silly stuff, and it's a really fun opportunity to do. So yeah, that's why I think it's so successful, and it's been around for a super long time, and it's been one of the biggest clubs at SB, and it's just, everyone loves it, and everyone wants to be a big buddy, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
And
problem.
one time when we came into the Shadow Day, I remember a Big Buddy years ago, he said, my favorite time of the year is Big Buddy time. And I just thought that was so cute, so I added that quote. It kind of stuck with me. So this is a student's voice. Savannah, if you want to.
So this interview was the interview I did with my little buddy Kyle. Again, like he was in my gym class, we talked about all our stuff. So I just asked him, like, what did you feel when I came to Big Buddy? How did you feel about it? What was your experience? And why would you want to be in it? And kind of a way to show you guys that it's not just people that we have that we like, they want to just say it because they want us to feel good about themselves. They actually feel like they can do it. Like we have this thing called Case Rally, Raider Rally, and like whenever like we set up, like all the grades are in the gym decorating like theirs. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and him and like a couple of his friends that I didn't even know, like maybe I've seen them on social media, but I didn't even know them. Like they came up to me and they helped like us decorate our side. Like everyone that was in like the senior class was like at work or something. We had like no one help us, and they all like the freshmen came and helped us. Like you see how crazy that is? Like we're supposed to be helping them, they came and help us, so they felt comfortable enough to like be like, oh, we can help you set up yours. So this is just a video of him kind of saying what he thinks about it. Oh, here it goes.
Whoopsies. What is this?
Can you do fingerprint? Oh, the fingerprint that we set up.
Oh no, this is a two-step verification. I'm sure a lot of you have this in your tech guys have done the two-step verification system in your high school.
They added this on like every like computer in like the school. It was literally like the most annoying thing.
And it's why the kids are like, why can't we have our phones? We need our phones for the two-step verification.
Hi everyone, I'm Savannah and I'm a senior here at SBRHS. I'm joined by...
I'm Kyle, I'm a freshman.
And today we're going to be talking about our experience with Big Buddy. So since I'm a senior here, that means I've been doing Big Buddy for 3 years. My sophomore, junior, and senior year. And with that, it's been great to connect with people such as Kyle. So Kyle, what has your experience been with Big Buddy?
I think Big Buddy is awesome. It was like a really nice and comforting thing to like ease into high school with like people helping you along the way. And like I had Savannah to like call on when I actually did summer freshman year. It's like helping me around. So I think Big Buddy is awesome.
So nice to get a different perspective from underclassmen. Kyle, would you want to join Big Buddy and why?
I definitely would. I think Big Buddy is very helpful, and I would love to like help some underclassmen the way Savannah helped me. And yeah, just like make friends.
You heard it here first. Big Buddy offers support, leadership, and community roles. And with that, you should implement it in your program. Thanks so much for watching.
Also, I do just want to like say that this was literally like so last minute. Like I was like, Kyle, we're doing an interview. This was a Monday morning. It was 7:30 in the morning. There was like doors shutting everywhere. Like this was like one take. Like I edited a couple clips. That's it. And so he didn't even know what he was like getting himself into. So this was like a real perspective, and you can tell by like the way he was talking. He was like, oh, I don't want to be here. I was like, let's do it.
Okay, so this is so parent feedback at the Tech Night, which is one of the events that we do where they get their computer in the summer in August. The parents come in, the kids get their actual schedule, and they get their Chromebook. And we have the Big Buddies there again to go through their schedules with them. They lead them through the hallways. Now with all these years coming, teachers come to that night. They want to meet the kids. And I did put out the Google Forms. I think are great. And we've done a lot of Google Form work with getting feedback. And this is, I had 2 quotes that I pulled out from parents because I specifically targeted parents. I wanted their feedback. And the question was, what did you find most helpful about the Big Buddies? Honestly, their welcoming, upbeat attitudes with such eagerness to help with all and every question, including guidance with directions, most importantly throughout the school. SBRHS should be so proud of the staff as well as the students for collaborating in such a warm welcome to all new students and parents. Thank you sincerely. And then I surprised Paul last night when we did our dry run. This was an actual quote from a parent who said, Paul was awesome. He recognized my son JJ from football and instantly acted like a big brother, not only showing him around the building, to his locker, classes, etc., but what staircases to use and tips to maximize his time getting to classes. He talked about getting involved with clubs early on so as it's a great for his resume and networking. Paul was a great big buddy, and we appreciate him making JJ feel more confident his freshman year. So,
Shout out Paul.
yeah, Paul. So how do you become a big buddy? It sounds like a lot. Somebody said it's a four-part process. Who's got this slide?
I got this one. Yeah, so becoming a big buddy, we really want to make sure that, big buddies are leading a good example for, the incoming freshmen. So we want to make sure that it's not a hard process to become a big buddy, but it also, making sure we're getting the right people in there. So there's 4 main things in the application process. So there's an activities checklist. You're just given like a sheet. You just write down like how long you've been participating in activities, because not all applicants are sophomores. Sometimes they're juniors, so they have maybe a little bit more time in certain clubs. You have to write an essay about yourself. You have to get a teacher recommendation, so that'll also give a different perspective from someone who actually works at the school. And you have to do an interview with a current big buddy. So my freshman year, I did an interview with a kid that played football, so I knew him, and he just basically asked me some questions. He pulled me in a class. He just kind of gave me a brief interview. It was a little bit stressful then, but now as someone who actually does those interviews, it really shows who someone is in the moment when they're being asked questions on the spot about why they want to do something. And every year we apparently receive 100 to 150 applicants, which is a lot, and it's hard. I know it's hard to turn down kids, but that just shows that there's so many people who want to get involved and want to be part of this program.
And I've had some kids that we mentioned about being in good behavioral standing and academic standing. One of the biggest things is that a student who applies has to be involved with something, because one of the big things that they're pushing within our program is getting involved. So if you're not involved in any activities and you apply to Big Buddy, it's hard to accept a student because they're not really going to have anything to share. So this gives them an opportunity to go back, the next year, get involved and reapply. And I've had a couple kids too, being an adjustment counselor. I have some students I meet with regularly who maybe are not always in good behavioral standing, so to speak, and they want to become a big buddy. And so I've made a couple arrangements with these students, because I do think it's important for some of these kids that do have poor behavior, that don't do well in school, to want to do this. To me is just such an amazing compliment to these kids. And then for them to maybe switch gears and maybe start to do something that is going to have them reach success in high school. So what I'll do is I'll basically say, listen, this is what you have going on right now. I am going to, in 6 months, put your name on my Google Calendar, and we are going to have a meeting. And in that 6-month period, if I see no behavioral infractions, I will reconsider entrance into Big Buddy. And so I've had to do that in the most recent years, because I am starting to get more of those students that are wanting to apply. It's not just like the captains, president of National Honor Society. All those kids, it's almost a given that they're going to apply. But at the same time, I do think it's helpful to get those kids that aren't involved in anything into a leadership role. And we have started to include our special education students as well. The sub-separate students, definitely we have had Big Buddies from those programs come and shadow with those kids and bring them into their classroom. So we do really not only try to get, a perspective and a voice from everything, because I think the only way a program like this works is if you have buy-in from all of the stakeholders. So we really take into account not only the students, not only the parents and the teachers, but really, our entire community, because that is the only way that it's going to work.
It's also a motivator too. So again, like Ms. Nassif said, if somebody's not in good academic standing and they want to be a big buddy, it motivates them to do better. And it motivates them to get up to the level that they need to be in order to become a big buddy, so that it's something that, and once you're in Big Buddy, you have to keep that standing. So if they're a big buddy, they have to keep that academic grade up in order to graduate with the Big Buddy title. So it's just something that they can look forward to if they want to get the
If you want to get the stole and just show it now.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, the kids were saying, we have stoles for different things. Can we get a Big Buddy stole? And again, they asked me, and we made it happen. So Big Buddies get a stole that they wear at graduation now. And I think that one of the things that we, with this program we're promoting, we talk a lot about the 8th graders and the freshmen, but what the Big Buddies don't realize is the amazing benefits that this program gives to them throughout their time here. So we just wanted to share a couple things that have come from Big Buddies, their benefit.
It kind of took my intro away.
Oh,
Hopefully
sorry.
not. No, it's okay. So, Yeah, we talked a lot about what it does for the little buddies, but yeah, the big buddies get a lot in return as well. So some big buddies, for example, have used it for their capstone project their senior year, have used it to get into the National Honor Society. It really does teach leadership skills, learn how to handle challenges, communication skills, college personal statements, which obviously a lot of us use it on our college applications as well. What the best thing, or one of the best things that I think that comes from for us is our community service hours. Obviously for us to graduate, we need 30 to 40. And by the time, I think at the end of my junior year, I was a Big Buddy since freshman. I had all my community service hours done. I didn't have to do anything extra. And I had everything all set in stone from just Big Buddy, and it was awesome. And it really helps you become like a lifelong learner. It really gives you a lot of public speaking skills, and yeah, and even graduation speeches. Like Zach will be able to use some of the skills he's learned to give a graduation speech and stuff like that. So it really does, think about it like a trickle down effect. We help the little buddies, but they also help us. So it just is an amazing, it's just an amazing thing for everyone, and it's kind of everyone gets something in return for participating in a program like this, and that's why it's awesome.
And also like jobs too. You can put on like your job applications, and they'll be like, "What's this?" And then you tell them like everything you've done, and they're like, So they go.
And a former Big Buddy, her name's Sarah Nassif, but actually she's no relation to me. But she shared with me back in 2015 a letter that she got from American University. That the highlighted part is that they were so impressed with the work that they did in the Big Buddy program and the Anti-Bullying Coalition, which is another peer mentoring program that I run at the high school. They were so impressed with her membership in these programs that it says that this is one of the many reasons why we want you at American University. So I thought that was pretty cool that it was actually put into an acceptance letter.
Yeah, that shows it's personal.
And this is a graduate. We tried to give you all aspects of, staff, students, and this is a testimonial from a former Big Buddy who's now in college.
Hi everyone, my name is Abby O'Brien. I was a member of the class of 2023 at Somerset Berkeley Regional High School, and I'm a current sophomore at Princeton University. I had the privilege of being a Big Buddy for most of my high school experience, and I can say without a doubt that it is one of the most transformative programs I've ever had the privilege of being a part of. I think that Big Buddy teaches students extremely valuable interpersonal skills, as well as the value of peer-to-peer mentorship and the importance of forming these really welcoming and inclusive school environments that we really pride ourselves on. Being a Big Buddy was the reason that when I came to Princeton, I decided that I wanted to be a tour guide because I wanted to continue that tradition of welcoming students to school communities and being able to be a friendly face for these new students. I think that the skills and values that Big Buddy teaches you are truly invaluable, and I think that every school should have a program like this established.
So tracking her down in
Hi
Princeton.
everyone, my name is
I threw a ball, bone in the air thinking, hey, if you have time, can you just send me a little video? And within a half an hour, she was obviously studying and sent that right over to me. So it's always nice to hear back. So a couple of the challenges and roadblocks that I do experience as an advisor is when I think the worst day of my entire school year every year is when I have to tell students that they didn't get into Big Buddy. It is so cringeworthy for me. I hate it sending. I usually do it in email because I have so many kids that I have to say no to. Because you have kids that want to help kids, and to say no to them, that's really hard for me to do. But I do in the email really kind of pose it as this is not your only chance, and this is what you need to do to reapply. And I think a lot of the times when you see these kids reapply, it shows their resilience, and it's really something that they talk about later on. I didn't get in first year, and now I'm here. Finding time to meet with the Big Buddies, these kids are so involved. You cannot have a meeting after school with these kids. I mean, it is I can get 7, but there's currently about 90 kids in the program, which is a lot. 70 is a bread and butter number. It's just that the numbers have grown so much with the applications that I have 90 kids, and it's teetering on. It actually might be a little bit more than that, but I think that getting to know them is a really important part of it, and that's why I try to keep the numbers somewhat low. One of the ways I was able to cut down numbers of applications was last year I only gave it to sophomore students. I said only sophomores can and that helped out a lot. And so now I'm having the current sophomores apply, and I'm getting emails from juniors saying, hey, I didn't make it, can I reapply? And obviously I'm gonna do that. One of the ways that I get around sometimes the Big Buddy meetings is I will do a screen castify, so I will record myself with the meeting and the information that the kids need to know, and then I will post it on the Google Classroom, and then they can just listen to what the new events are or whatever it is that they have to do. They have to miss class time. During Shadow Day, when they come down to get the kids, there are certain times where they do need to miss class, and that's a drawback because they're in the higher level classes, a lot of them, so they are missing instruction. Teachers don't complain anymore, they get it, but I know they don't always like it. As most teachers are pretty good with it, and I get that, they don't want to have the kids miss their class, but that's one of the times that's a little bit challenging because they do have to make up that work. But they volunteer so much time, it's amazing. Expenses, budget, the first year I started this, I wrote a grant and was able to get some money. It's really not that expensive of a program to run. I would say you could probably do something like this with $1,000. I do give each kid that enters a free t-shirt. We do have school store apparel, so I spend about $250 in the school store, because during the events we give out prizes to even just a kid during Shadow Day. If they ask a question, we'll give them a sweatshirt or a hat and something that they can leave with to pride themselves on being a Raider. Starburst, so some of the candy, water. I do a pizza appreciation party for them at some point during the year, and the Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. So oftentimes I think too, you have PTOs or boosters, you can sometimes appeal to them for some money and hopefully get that. And just the coordinating part, that could be kind of chaotic. Working with the middle schools and all the schedules, that could sometimes be a challenge. And then there are also challenges for Big Buddies themselves.
So obviously as a Big Buddy, there's always going to be some challenges beyond just missing class time. But not every kid wants to be here. Not every kid is very responsive. We're public schools, so we're getting everybody. We're not just getting like the kids that are applying to our school. Everybody's here. So not everybody is going to want to work with you. But I think even though that is a challenge, it really teaches you, at least for me, like I am a coach for about like 5 and 6 year olds for softball. It taught me how to deal with those kids, how to like deal with kids that didn't want to be there. And sometimes the little buddies can be problematic. Not every 8th grader is shy either. Some of them are very outgoing and they like to fight with other people. They like to get in trouble. We've had a couple instances this year.
Yep.
But definitely I think overall the challenges are not a setback. I mean, 100 to 150 applications every year. So the reward really outweighs the risk.
I also think another challenge is the quiet, uninterested little buddies. I think this year I had the most that were super quiet, and I love to talk a lot. So I feel like I was just talking, and I'm talking their ear off.
Yeah.
And I don't know, hopefully it's entertaining for them or interesting, but we all just try to interact with them as much as we can. It's hard when you're like, oh, what are you interested in? And they're like, nothing. They don't really tell you anything. So it kind of teaches you to talk, I don't want to say talk a lot, but just get out there and talk about yourself and the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's training you for when you have more opportunities. You might be at a business meeting somewhere big, and there's just somebody that doesn't like your idea. You just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You just gotta deal with it.
Yeah,
And I apologize.
I know personally I've gotten a lot of little buddies that are not wanting to cooperate with me. Had a lot of little buddies where I'm asking them question on question, and I'm ending what's your birthday? We're starting high, and that's all I can get out of you. But sometimes that still works. The main goal, we're trying to just get, you know what, you know my name, and you're gonna see me next year, and you're gonna know who I am. And that's just really getting them a start. I've had little buddies that don't speak my language. And it's still I brought them to my photography class, and she took pictures for my photos. So it's really just trying to engage with them any way you can is really a big goal for us.
So when I get those notes from the middle school administrators, this is a quiet student, there's a reason why I pick certain students to go with them, because they are talking and they come over to me after like, Mrs. Nassif, they really didn't talk much at all. I'm like, I know, that's why I put them with you. So that pretty much wraps up our presentation. I don't know how I'm doing on time. 11:20, we're like,
This is way better than last night.
I know. Perfect. We didn't break it, but we got into this room last night to check it out and see what it was.
We were rolling around on the ground. We were just out of it. We were out of it.
So, I mean, I think that, you know, I do have other slides. I didn't want to do a slide presentation within a slide, but we have a different slideshow that we use for the summer program that really kind of goes through a lot of these things that's helpful. This is my name and my address, my email address and my contact info. And I also have a couple handouts up here if people want them. Yeah, they're yellow. So this is just, the blue sheet is just the schedule of events for the summer program, if that would be something that you'd be interested in having. Does somebody just go around and put a few on each table if you want. And then this is just an outline of what the Big Buddy program is. I do often have some of the different student groups help me with creating these things. So on the back part of the yellow sheet, they forgot to put my contact info, so I wrote it in, but then when they copied it, it kind of cut off a little bit, but it's just .org. That's the only part that cut off, so I didn't want to have them redo it. So now we can go to the Q&A part.
Yay.
Yes.
Kudos to you for like creating this and having it be sustainable for so long. So it's phenomenal. What can you talk a little bit more about like what these awesome kids have for training?
For training? Yeah. So once they apply and they're accepted, I hold what's called the Big Buddy training. And that is usually after school. It's usually towards like the end of the school year, so activities are starting to wind down. And I just go through all of the different events that we host throughout the year. I talk a lot about what their expectations are. And then for the summer program, we will do dry runs so that they know what they're doing. So I pretty much explain everything. And even just like making this presentation for today, we spent weeks and weeks of meeting time, but it wasn't until we got here last night and started doing the actual dry runs that they were like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. And then honestly, these kids, they just take off with it. They just go. It's like you have to be that advisor that explains things and sets the tone, but it is, I do call them Big Buddy training, so I will host trainings where we go through exactly what we're doing. Oftentimes my principal will join and she'll want us to promote certain things. Teachers will give us certain things that they want us to promote, like make sure you really drive in the point that they need to check their email. So we get information from all of the people about, you know, what it is that they want the 8th graders to come in prepared for, and then we train them to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
So first of all, great students, amazing job.
Thank you.
Just wondering about the 8th grade process. Is it every single 8th grader, or do they also apply to be part of the program? How does recruitment look like?
Yeah, so the 8th graders don't have a choice. They are in it. They are for, I mean, every shadow day we might have 1 or 2 kids that stay at the back at the middle school because they're just too shy, but what ends up happening usually is that group comes back to the middle school and they're beaming about it and talking about it, that I'll get the call from the principal the next day, okay, Sam didn't want to go yesterday, but he really wants to go now. So the 8th graders don't really have a choice when it comes to shadow day. All the kids go. And one of the things that they were talking about last night is that there are several tech high schools around our area that are becoming really, really popular, and a lot of the kids are coming wanting to go to these tech schools, and it's wonderful and it's great and it's what they think they might want, but then when they go through the shadow day, they're telling the kids at the end of the day, I actually didn't realize that we had an engineer designing program here, or there is a photography class, and they kind of switch their minds through the shadow day. So the summer program is voluntary. Those notices go home to parents and emails, and the parents have to sign the students up. So that is usually voluntary. And I want to say an average that I get for the summer program is about 60 to 70%, because a lot of the times people are leaving on vacation right after school ends. But I've done it before the school year starts, and that sometimes is harder too. People are going on last minute vacations, and a lot of my big buddies are already wrapped up with sports. So sometimes you have to kind of just go through it in a year and see what's going on for you in your calendar and adjust it accordingly.
Also, can I just add something to that too? It's like, since they might want to go to like a vocational school, you kind of want to make the most out of like their experience here, because even if they're like, I'm going to whatever school, but they might not get in. Like, there's so many people that apply to these vocational schools that are for, like, in our, like, county, and they might not get in. So it might not be something they want to do, but at least they can come back to the school and be like, well, at least I had a good experience, so I can go to Hunter in the hallway, like, I know him. Like, their friends all might get into this vocational school, they might not. So you have to kind of also keep that in mind, that you want to be somebody that even they can just be a little friend. Like, it doesn't have to be like you hang out every weekend, but you can at least say hi.
Thank you. Yes.
How many little buddies are assigned to a big buddy? Does that change over the years?
Yeah, that's a good question. I probably should mention that. It's one-on-one.
Okay.
It's one-on-one.
And there's like recommendations too. Like,
oh, yeah.
if we know like people that are coming up, like she has like a Google form that we have to fill out like 2 months before because it takes so much planning. Like, honestly, props to her because like people will come up the day like of and be like, Miss Nelson, can I please have that one? And like, I'm guilty of that like once. I was once, but she like does it and like she gets everyone like to somebody. Like, she has to know where everyone is. So like, honestly, props to her because you have to like know who's with who at what time, and like you might have to leave and you have to hand them off to Hunter, and then Hunter has like 3 big buddies. So it's just like a whole thing. So
yeah, the logistics.
props to Miss Nassif.
Yeah, it actually it's fun when you get requests. So before I start doing it actually helps me out to do matchups. When people say, oh, I have a neighbor, I have a cousin, I have a younger brother, and so I match them up right away. But yeah, if they have a test that they don't want their little buddy to sit through an AP stats test, they just have to email me and say, okay, I'm going to switch my little buddy off to this time. Because I always say, like, I need to know where the little buddies are. Like, first of all, like, don't ever give your little buddy to somebody who's not a big buddy, because that has happened before. I'm like, what are you doing? That is not a big buddy. They're not trained in knowing what to do. And then, oh, well, I don't know. They said it was their friend. Sometimes the little buddies do have, a lot of confidence. They'll be like, ditch the big buddy to go with their buddy who's not a big buddy. And it's like, whoa, I don't know where they went. So we have to know where they are at all times from that point. But we do try to do it so they have something in common when we do that one-on-one matchup.
We even like I feel like more recently we've started like asking middle schoolers if they play sports or if they're in theater or like what they're interested in, so we can like match up big buddies and little buddies to have something in common.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I need to do a better job of like getting other people to help with that, because doing it, it takes a lot of time to do all that, which is very much worth it. I think they come in like really just excited about that. So, I think that it's definitely worth it to do that, because it already kind of puts them at ease knowing that there's something in common. So, any other questions?
If a school was going to like maybe start this from the ground up, are there like any, I don't know if this existed before you started, but is there anything that you'd recommend? Like, what is a good starting point?
Yes.
What do you wish you knew back then that maybe you didn't?
So I was so new to the school when I started. It was like my first year at the high school that I had this idea. So I didn't really know a lot of the kids that were in like more, leadership roles. So I just looked at what activities we had, and we had a key club. And I was like, all right, this is a volunteer organization that had just started as well. So the person that was starting the key club had a list of kids that I said, hey, do you think that they would be interested in something like this? And she said, yeah, here's the list. And I emailed them. And again, like I was like, I hope I get like 6 or 7 kids. And I think all 20 of the kids at the time wanted to do it. And we just started from there, and it just grows. So I think you have to, if you don't have a program that you would already look at to say, let me pull some kids from here, I would maybe start with teachers and maybe say, like, who would you recommend as a role model within your class, someone who has respectful communication skills, helps out with other students, and get some referrals from teachers, and then have a meeting with them to sort of explain, like, this is what I'm interested in doing. I'm interested in starting something to help our freshmen that are incoming, would you be willing? And I'll tell you, if you put that ask out to a teenager, you will be so surprised how many kids you get back. And one of the most endearing things for me in this program is that all of these kids at some point or another come up and they thank me, like, for the opportunity. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, if you guys didn't do this, this wouldn't exist. Like, it is their face. We do the behind the scenes, but it is their time that they put forward. And they're going to be leaving here today and going back and going to a show choir competition and going to tennis if it hasn't been canceled. They're jumping right back into their day. So yeah, I think that they are just like such fabulous human beings. I couldn't do without them.
I just want to say thank you so much, because one of the things that I see is we do a lot of the things that are on the list. Or you have 8th grade parent, 8th grade night, and with the 8th graders come in with their parents, and we have a Jumpstart program. Our program is 4 days that we run at the beginning of August, but it's all teacher-led. So I think the transition is convincing people that it's worthwhile training the kids to lead those activities that are already there. So just thank you so much for that, because I feel like it kind of gave me a really good perspective to bring back to my school.
That actually brings up a good point, because what we usually have too is a freshman first day. So on the freshman first day, when the teachers are usually, showing the kids like all the different ins and outs of the days, the Big Buddies take their last day of summer vacation to come in for a couple of hours and lead the kids like to their lockers and through their schedules. And I've had teachers come to me and say, it's so nice to, not that I don't want to do it, but it's nice that they're doing it, you know? So yeah, and it gives them the opportunity, and I bet you'd have a lot of kids that would want to do it.
We have our National Honor Society kids that always help out at these types of events, but it's very different what they're doing from what you guys are doing.
I mean, they are the lead. They are the
Yeah.
role. Like I literally, I'm present on those nights, but I mean, I'll talk to parents, but they're the ones that are running the show. They really take over, and they do an amazing job. So we're really proud of them. Thank you guys. Any other thoughts or questions? Well, feel free. I'll stick around if anybody has any questions. And thank you.